3 years ago, I had never competed in my life. I had never worn a competition dress. I had never stood on a floor with the judges watching me. 3 years ago, I walked into a dance studio for the very first time as an adult. And I want to tell you exactly what happened next. Not the version that looks good on Instagram, the real version, because I think you need to hear it. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Irina. I'm professional ballroom dancer based in Miami and I compete across United States. And if you watched my last video about competing after 35 years old, a lot of you had questions. How did I start? When did I start? Was I always a dancer? The honest answer is no. I was not always a dancer. I wanted to be. For most of my life, I watched other people dance and felt something in my chest that I didn't have a name for. Today, I wanted to tell you the whole story from beginning, why I could not dance when I was young, and finally changed. What the first year actually felt like, and what I know now, that I desperately wish someone had told me on day one. This is what nobody tells you about starting the dance as an adult. And I'm going to tell you all of it. I need to go to the beginning, to when I was a little girl. And I do remember the first time when I saw the ballroom dancing. It was incredible. Just my mother, she took me to the dance competition. And 6-year girl, the first time saw this beauty of feathers and the stones, and it was just a beautiful world, like other world. Everybody's smiling, everybody's beautiful insanely. And I remember the feeling. I remember watching those couples on the floor and thinking that is what I want. Not what they are wearing, not the attention, not the trophies, the way they move together, the communication between them, the way the music went through them instead of around them. I wanted that feeling in my own body. And then life said, not yet. When I was a child, I was hit by a car. And that accident changed the physical landscape of my life for years. I didn't break anything, but I hit my head pretty hard. And every time when I start to express myself in the classes, I was just passing out. And of course, my teacher didn't want to take this responsibility. So they told me that they no longer want to see me in the classroom of ballroom dancing. So that accident changed what felt safe. It changed the relationship I had with the movement itself and with my own body. And for a long time, dance wasn't a possibility. But I didn't want to just to dance. I want to compete. And when you want to compete from bottom of your heart, you want to work hard as possible. And this is exactly what I was not able to do. So for me, competing in the ballroom was just a dream. I carried quietly, years by years, honestly. And the kind of dream you stop talking about because it hurts too much to mention. And there were the years when the money wasn't there because ballroom dancing is a very expensive sport. All the time wasn't there, or the stability wasn't there, or you know how it is when you are just surviving. The things that feed your soul go on, at least called someday. And someday keeps moving farther away. I carried that dream for decades. I carried it through every chapter of my life, through hard years and good years, and years I don't talk on camera. And somewhere inside me, there was always this quiet voice that said, you still want this. You haven't stopped wanting this. And I was living in Miami, and for the first time in a long time, my life had some ground under it. Not perfect, nothing is ever perfect, but stable, real. I had built something solid enough to finally look up from survival and ask, what do I actually want? And one day I was just scrolling Instagram, which I do like everyone else, mostly without thinking. And And at I paired a dance studio in Miami, the new studio opening up just in a month. I could not wait when they gonna open up. And it's only was 15 minutes away from me. So this was a sign. And I want to be honest about this. There was a voice that said, "You are too old for this." I didn't want to be like that grainy dancing with the young teacher. It looks pretty sad, honestly. So there was a voice that said that is for the people who started young. They look good when they start young, right? And there was the voice that said that are you going to look like walking in there knowing nothing? I ignore it. All three of those voices and comments of myself and others. I clicked the ad and I sent a message. And 1 month later, I walked in that studio when they just opened up. And I couldn't believe that finally I'm on that dance floor. And that was the best feeling. I had so much energy. And actually, all my teachers was pretty scared that I gonna burn out fast because I was just jumping everywhere. I was so happy. So I could not burn out because this was my dream for last 25 years. And this was the most impressive feeling I ever had. So when I opened the door in that dance studio for the first time in my life as an adult, I do remember what I was wearing, how I was feeling that moment, how my heart felt walking in that dream. Like something was about to change. And my body knew even before my brain did. And I had no idea what was coming. I had absolutely no idea. I had just a lot of I want. The first year of dancing as an adult is something I want to describe as accurately as I can because I think people imagine it one way and it is actually something completely different. I thought it would feel like learning. I like studying something new, like taking a class. And in some ways, yes, there are steps, there is technique, there is a lot of information going into your brain at once. But what I was not prepared for was how physical the emotional experience would be. Dancing doesn't just move your body, dancing moves everything that is stored in your body. And I had a lot stored. There were moments in that first year where I would be in the middle of a routine and suddenly feel something rise up from somewhere deep, a feeling I could not name, could not explain, could not predict. Sometimes it felt like sadness, sometimes like relief, sometimes like the specific grief of time that passed before I found this. Years of emotional blocks that I had carried without knowing I was carrying them. They started moving. They started releasing through my arms, through my spine, through the way I learned to breathe differently when the music started. I wanted to be careful how I say this because I don't want it to sound dramatic. But dancing genuinely changed something fundamental in me. Not the steps, not the technique. The act of letting my body speak in a language it had been waiting to use my entire life. I dance two programs, Standard and Latin. And I want to explain why, because it's not just about variety. Standard, the European dances, taught me something I didn't know I needed to learn. It taught me the elegance as a form of strength. When you dance standard, there is a frame, a structure, a way of holding yourself and your partner that requires complete commitment. You cannot half do standard. You are either present in every inch of your body or you're not. And learning to be that present physically, emotionally, that was a completely new experience for me. Latin is something else entirely. Latin opened a door inside me that I didn't know existed. The fire, the individuality, the way Latin asks you to be logically yourself in every movement. That was uncomfortable at first. I had spent a lot of years making myself smaller, Latin doesn't allow that. Latin says no. Be bigger. Be more. Take up the space you are standing in. What I thought I knew about partnership when I started, that you follow, that you wait, that the woman responds to the man. I understand now that it's so much more nonsense than that. Partnership in dance is about sharing energy. Two people dividing one movement between them and creating something neither could make alone. Like a pass in any team sport, the throw and the catch are one action, not two. That understanding took me years to find, and it changed everything about how I move. 3 years in, and what I know now versus and what I knew on the day one, those are genuinely different lives. On day one, I thought dancing was about looking good. I thought the goal was to execute the steps correctly and have the judges approve. And I thought I was there to perform for the room. Now I understand that I can real dance. It's about something that starts on the inside and moves outward. The judges see. It's about what you feel in the moment before anyone else sees anything. It's about the split second when the music starts and something in your body recognizes the invitation and says, yes, I know this. Come. I also know now that starting late, it's not the disadvantage. I know thought it was. I brought something into that studio on day one that a 22-year-old cannot bring. I brought a life. I brought everything I had and lost and rebuilt. I brought the specific weight of a dream different for decades, finally being allowed to breathe. That is not nothing. This is actually everything. This is what makes the dance mean something beyond the technique. And technique can be learned that you cannot teach. You can only live your way toward it. Before I get to my last thought, if you've ever watched my competition journey and you're curious about the dresses I wear on stage, I design and sell my own competition ballroom gowns at irinavibestar.com. Every dress you've seen me compete in, I created. Link is in the description. I want to say something directly to whoever is watching this and carrying a dream that they haven't started yet. Maybe it's a dance, maybe it's something completely different. Maybe it's a sport or language or a place you want to live or a version of yourself you have been postponing until the conditions are right, until you are more ready, until the timing is better, until you are younger or older, or thinner, or richer, or less afraid. I wanted to tell you what I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. The conditions are never going to be perfect. The fear doesn't go away before you start. It goes away because you started. The version of you that's ready is not waiting somewhere in the future. The version is built by decision you make right now. Today begin anyway. I was hit by a car as a child. I spent decades without money or the stability to choose what I actually wanted. I scrolled past that Instagram ad almost without stopping, and I'm standing here 3 years later, having competed at the New York Dance Festival, Manhattan Dance Festival. I even won American Championship in my second year of practice. I won dresses I designed myself, which one I always wanted all my life. Kevin felt things on a dance floor that I cannot describe in any language I know. None of that was guaranteed. All of it required one decision. The decision walk through the door, whatever your door is. I hope you walk through it. I really do. And please don't forget and tell me in the comments below, is there something you've been wanting to start but keep putting off? I'm asking seriously. I read every single comment and I want to know. And if you are new here and this story resonates with you, subscribe because this journey is just getting started. The next competition is already on my calendar. And I'm not the same dancer I was a year ago or a month ago or last week. This is what I love most about this. It never stops moving forward. I will see you in the next one. XOXO. Mwah. Bye.